If you're planning to travel, make sure you book your accommodations in advance. Yeah. Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are doing an episode of Hot and Cold. This is a video series I like to do where I talk about the best and worst music I heard over the past week. Specifically, this episode will be looking at any songs released between October 13th and 19th, 2019. As per usual, the songs will be linked down in the description. Let me know what you think of them. Let's dive into the list. First up with the hot tracks, I'm going to be talking about a couple from Beck. These two tracks dropped along with an album announcement. Didn't think that we were going to be getting Hyperspace. That's the name of the album. Didn't think that we'd be getting that until 2020, but he is now releasing it in November on the 22nd. 3 singles in total are now available to listen to stream on the major streaming platforms. I wasn't blown away by the lead single, Saw Lightning. I already did a full-length review of that. These two new tracks that I'm going to talk about here, though, Uneventful Days and Hyperlife, they're also co-produced by Pharrell Williams, like Saw Lightning. But with the production of Pharrell on these two new tracks, I feel like his quirky style doesn't really take a chokehold on these tracks here. They're actually quite lush and ruminating. The tunes of the tracks don't seem to be the focal points either. I can say that it's more about creating a vibe, and they end up being decent songs because of that. I can't really say much more than that without the context of the record, but I am looking forward to it. Beck seems like he's going to switch up his sound like he's done the last couple albums, and I'm rooting for him. Moving on from there, the Canadian pop artist Allie X has released a new single. This one is entitled Rings a Bell. This artist reminds me quite a bit of Lana Del Rey with her vocals. It has a sweet melody to it as well, and I like this one for its groovy bass line and dense production. Rex Orange County has released a second single for his forthcoming record. This one is called Pluto Projector. It's compelling for its string arrangements. It's like this Baroque pop fusion with heartfelt and poignant lyrics. I'm enjoying it very much. And lastly, for hot tracks this week, we have a new single from the Canadian rock artist Matt Mays. This one is called Let There Be Love. Matt Mays, he's an artist that I've come to expect pretty standard rock from in the past is what he's been doing. Though with this new track, I feel like it is pretty danceable with its bass line. It's pretty fun, and it is upbeat. Now switching gears onto the middle of the road tracks for the week. These are songs that I thought were okay, not amazing, not terrible. First up, we have Frank Ocean's latest, DHL. This is a lo-fi, vibey production type song. Not much force or weight behind it. It's a pretty repetitive track, not much variance to it. But relatively compared to the cold tracks, this is much better than them. Sicily is the name of the newest single from Matthew Goode. This is another Canadian artist I'm highlighting this week. It's pretty standard, run-of-the-mill. It's a plain song, I'll say that. More Canadian content was released last week with Half Moon Run. Their latest is called Favorite Boy. This song, it begins like a Cage the Elephant type track, especially from Cage the Elephant's latest record. Then this Half Moon Run song just doesn't quite manage to click or get on the same page with what I was enjoying from the first two singles that have been released for this forthcoming record. The vocals are still breathtaking from Devin. He is a phenomenal singer. Just nothing else is really going for the track. Now wrapping up the middle of the road for this week, we have a new single from Matt Berninger featuring Phoebe Bridgers. This one is called Walking on a String. There's actually 2 versions of this song that were released last week. We have the alternative version in addition to the standard. Sonically, I feel like this song is more upbeat than the majority of The National's latest full-length album, so it is refreshing to hear that. Plus the lyrics are strong as usual. They are pretty sad. Just with The National, I feel like they aren't really up my alley. I feel like I don't come back to them all too often. I guess Matt Berninger just feels like he's an artist who takes himself too serious at times. It's almost like he's too serious for his own good. And now to close out Hot and Cold for this week, we're going to talk about some cold tracks, the worst of the week, the worst what I heard, in my opinion. What better way is there to start it off than with Katy Perry's Harley's in Hawaii. This is the third single that we've heard from her this year. This follows up Small Talk. It's another collaboration with Charlie Puth. He has some songwriting credits and some production credits on here as well. The hook and the production, very catchy, very slick and clean. I will hand it to Charlie for handling this. He attains a very summery mood. I just feel like the lyrics are so dumb. It just takes me right out of the track, and I can't stand it for that. Moving on from there, Blake Shelton has a new single. This one is called Jesus Got a Tight Grip. This is very nondescript and flavorless mainstream country. The song just features every bland convention of that genre, unfortunately. Onder's featuring Rich the Kid. The latest from them is called Sticky Situation. I feel like the vocal performance on this one is way too reminiscent of The Weeknd. It feels like it is so contrived, and I'm turned off because of that. And Rich the Kid's verse doesn't really do much either. G-Eazy has a new single in addition to a new EP out. The latest single from him is called I Wanna Rock. Terrible flows from him, a very boring song all around. And there's a sample of Royce da 5'9's Malcolm X. It's not really that useful in the song at all. It is cleaned up and it sounds a lot better than the original, but that's just because we're in high fidelity of 2019 where we can put out a song that sounds much better than the original from the 2000s. And lastly, this week, it's an artist that I've talked about many times before on Hot and Cold. I feel like I've put him in the cold list of songs more often than not. It is Russ, and his latest single is called Best on Earth. This one, he teams up with BIA. And yeah, really, Russ is just like the most consistent artist out there releasing trash. The song is horrible vocally, that's no surprise. Russ, I've never really thought of him as much of a singer, and he doesn't really show much talent with his rapping ability either. His lyrical ability is also pretty horrendous. We have lyrics on here about a cat being on his lap and he's giving it good strokes. Him hitting it like Ichiro. And both these lines here, I know they have double entendres, but Russ is currently my least favorite rapper. Enough said. And there you have it. There's Hot and Cold for this past week. Sound off down below in the comments. Let me know what you think of these songs. Leave a like. Subscribe if you're new in town. I'll catch you next time. And yeah, have a rockin' day.